All right. The time is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time here in Austin, Texas. All regular amateur traffic, please stand by because you are now listening to the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, heard every Thursday night here on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club frequencies and the University Link repeater system. We will not have any scheduled pauses for emergency traffic, but we will yield the air to any braking emergency. With that in mind, please leave room between your check-ins and transmissions to allow for any emergency traffic. I am transmitting tonight from South Austin using the 147.320 repeater. For information regarding the club's repeater system, and how to become a member, please visit n5oak.org. You can also participate in this net using the University Link repeater system. For more information about the University Link repeater system, please visit ka5d.com. If you're listening through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8 hertz. For the University Link repeater system, set your tone to 97.4 hertz. For club members, we have our very own Thursday Night Net channel in Discord. You might find some folks on the video chat there as well. So swing by and say hello to everyone hanging out during the net. My name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE, and I'll be your net controller for this evening. This is our first net of 2023, and this is also my first time hosting a net, so please be gentle. This is a control net, so stations should refrain from transmitting until designated check-in or comment times. If you're a new ham or just new to the net, the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net is a social net. We get together every week to ask questions, share knowledge, and tell everyone what's going on in our world. It's really easy to check in. In just a moment, I'll ask for check-ins and take down a list of all stations who wish to participate. Once we have everyone checked in, I'll go down the list one at a time and give you the floor. Feel free to ask questions pertaining to ham radio, tell us about something you've been working on, or just say hello. We'd love to hear from you. If you missed the first round of check-ins, don't worry, we'll catch you on the next round. Please avoid topics of politics, religion, or anything else potentially inflammatory. Let's try to keep it civil this evening. It's time for station identification, and then we'll start opening up the net for short-time check-ins, so please stand by. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We are here Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, again, please set your tone to 114.8 hertz. For the University Link repeater system, again, set your tone to 97.4 hertz. And again, my name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE. With that being said, it's time for short-time check-ins. Short-time check-ins are for operators who cannot stay for the entire net or maybe don't have long. Short-time check-ins can report either no traffic, meaning you don't have anything much to say, but you'd like to be listed as a check-in, or you can check in short-time, and I'll hand the floor over to you for a brief message. If you check in short-time and later want to rejoin the net, you can always recheck later in the evening. For those that have never checked into a net before, I'll kind of model the process here. When I open the floor for check-ins, you'll start by keying up the repeater and saying, "This is." And in between saying "this is," if you let go of the PTT and allow the repeater to reset, if you don't hear anything, that means you're probably not doubling with anybody, and so you're probably good to go to key up again. Say your call sign, your name, and where you're joining from this evening. So if you're busy and don't have long, but still want to check in short time, I'll ask for check-ins here in just a minute. But again, this being my first net, if you wouldn't mind coming with your call sign slowly, phonetically, and twice, and then stating your name, I would really, really appreciate that. So if any stations would like to check in short time, feel free to come now with your name, your call sign, please.
This is Alpha India 5, Hotel Papa. That's AI 5HP. Aaron and Buda with no traffic. And thanks for running the net, Chad.
This is Hello November 4 Beta Echo Delta KN4 BED. My name is Dean. Doing a short time check-in. I do have a question about antennas later.
This is Kilo India 5, Yankee India Alpha. That's KI5YIA. This is Marshall, and I have no traffic.
This is November 5 Sierra Mike Oscar Bill, no traffic.
This is Kilo 5 Juliet Mike K5JM Sam.
This is Kilo India 6 Hotel Quebec Tango. That's Kilo India 6 Hotel Quebec Tango. Ken in South Austin, no traffic.
Alrighty, the net recognizes AI5HP Aaron. He had no traffic. And I'm going to have to ask the AN4 station if you would mind coming again with your traffic, please.
Yeah, KN4 BED, Kilo November 4 Beta Echo Delta. I forgot to say I'm using Echo Link. Yeah, my question is, I think I asked this in the Discord, but couldn't get a clear answer. So, I live in an HOA and I want to put an antenna on my attic, but there's a radiant barrier. So I was wondering if anybody on the net had any experience, like still putting an antenna in an attic with a radiant barrier, and if they were successful doing it, meaning they were able to receive like traffic from repeaters. Because I was reading online and it's kind of mixed. Like some people say not to bother with it, but some say, you could try it and see if it still works. So I just want to ask what everyone's experience is. And I'm planning to put either like a J-pole or like a Comet GP1. So any thoughts would be like really appreciated.
Well, really appreciate the question. If anybody has any suggestions, please come now with your name and call sign, please.
N5LX, Sky.
Go ahead, Sky.
I can't remember who it was. Somebody on Discord, maybe it was Bill, mentioned something about hanging an antenna from a tree. And I've built antennas that were specifically designed to do that. You'd have to run the coax somehow, but it's pretty well hidden if you do that.
Well, thank you for that, Sky. Again, this is kind of a good illustration of why the Discord's pretty valuable. If you're not already a member of the M5 OAK Amateur Radio Club, you can certainly go to m5oak.org and learn how to become a member and how to log into our Discord channel so that you can get advice like this on projects you're working on or help that you need. The KN4, and I want to make sure I have your call sign right. I'm having a little bit of trouble listening on my rig here, hearing you on my rig. It's KN4IED, Kilo November 4 India Echo Delta, is that correct?
Negative. It's Kilo November 4 Beta Echo Delta. So KN4 BED.
Thank you for that correction. Did you have any more questions?
No, that's all good for me. Thank you for the suggestion.
10-5 LX.
Thank you, Sky. Did anybody else have anything else or any advice for Kilo November 4 Bravo Echo Delta?
November 5 Sierra Mike Oscar.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, on 2 meters, a quarter wave looks pretty much like a lightning rod, just saying. And there's probably no regulations against lightning rods. And also, you can just make a sleeve dipole or a sleeve quarter wave out of a piece of coax. And pretty much all houses have cable TV with a black coaxial cable somewhere there on the side of the house running somewhere. And it will look just like a piece of your TV system. Also, dish antenna mounts are allowed. I don't think they can restrict those for dish TV. There's an antenna called a slot antenna, a dipole that can be made that will fit in your typical dish antenna by cutting a slot in it. That's a quarter wavelength, a half wavelength for either 2 meters or 70 centimeters, and it looks just like a regular dish TV antenna. And nobody's going to know about it unless they know that there's a little slit cut in it and they know what a slot antenna is. So those are all options. Of those, the slot antenna is probably going to work the best because it would be high and clear, like on the peak of a roof. That's it. Back to net N5SMO.
Yeah, thanks for that, Bill. I live in a community with an HOA myself, and so I understand how big of a bear it is. Did anybody else have anything for Dean, KN4 BED?
10-5 LX.
Go ahead, Sky.
I just wanted to add a real short comment. Everybody's got their favorite, but one of the antennas I would highly recommend is the Ed Fong 2-band J-pole vertical. He puts it, they're reasonably priced. He sells them online, or you can build one. I built one. They're inside a piece of PVC, and you can paint it black or camouflage or whatever, and it has no ground radials. So if you wanted to hang it, if you had a tree, you could hang it up pretty high in a tree. I don't think anybody would see it.
Put a bird feeder on the bottom of it, N5SMO.
Yeah, Roger. I have an N9 TAX roll-up J-pole myself, and it's just up in my garage. It's not even on the exterior of my house, and it works pretty well for me. Anybody else have any advice to offer for KN4 BED, Dean? All right, nothing heard. Really appreciate Bill and Sky for offering up a little bit of that. Hopefully that helps you out, Dean. But again, tune into the Discord, and hopefully we can get you some more advice if you're running into some roadblocks along the way. So I'm going to go ahead and move on down the list. Next on the list is KI5YIA Marshall. He had no traffic. Next in line is N5SMO Bill. He had no traffic. And then K5JM Sam is checking in short time. So let me go ahead and come back to you, Sam, and see what you have for us.
This is K5JM. Hey, thanks for taking my check-in, and congrats on running your first net. That's real good news to hear. Just wishing everyone a happy new year. Hopefully it's been a good start to everyone's new year. And no, that's it. Just plug the CW net. It's more of a round table. Come join us. 730s around 3.532 megahertz. That's all licensed classes have access to that part of the band, including technicians. So yeah, come join us on Discord, and if you can send your call sign, we'd love to hear you on there. And even if you can't, back to net K5JM.
Roger, thank you for that, Sam. And yeah, for those of you who are aspiring CW practitioners or operators, we have a really great CW community. I'll definitely circle back around and list the CW net and the frequency towards the end of the net, but it is a really great group of people, and you will not find probably a more patient group of people in amateur radio to help you learn CW. And get on the air and operating in Morse code. I'm also kind of wondering if Pat is out there and might want to chime in and include anything else, but I'll go ahead and leave some time in here and see if he wants to check in real quick. All right, nothing heard, but thanks for plugging the CWNet, Sam, and thanks for checking in a short time. Good to hear your voice on the air. Next in line was KI6HQT, Ken. He had no traffic, and that's the end of the list. Are there any other stations out there that would like to check in short time this evening? Please come now with your name and call sign, please.
K5 Sierra Delta Whiskey. Name is Scott. Short time.
Alrighty, the net recognizes KI5SDW Scott. How are you doing this evening?
Doing good. Quick correction, it's Kilo 5, Sierra Delta Whiskey, Scott. I'm almost out of range, but I just wanted to share with the group, did POTA activation today, and a popular logging application is Hammers, Hotel Alpha Mike Romeo Sierra, and they typically will resolve usernames, or rather call signs, using HamDB. Well, that website is having issues or crashed, so you back up with QRZ. If you do not have a QRZ paid account, it doesn't populate the grid, so your logbooks get all gooped up. So just an FYI, anybody doing that needs to be a QRZ paid account or have to go in and manually enter the grid. So just a FYI.
Really appreciate that, Scott, and thank you for the correction. That was K5SDW, not KI5, K5SDW and Scott, and thank you for that. I also use Hammers for when I do Parks on the Air activations, so if you're kind of in the same camp as Scott and myself, you might be aware of that issue when you're loading your contacts onto QRZ. Any comments for Scott, K5SDW?
BBS.
Go ahead, Perez.
Hey, Scott, good to hear you on the net, man, and congrats on the POTA activation. That's all I got. WZ5 BBS, back to net control.
Thanks for that, Rusty, and yeah, many congrats for your Parks on the Air activation. That's probably one of my favorite things to do within the hobby. Anybody else have any comments for Scott, K5SDW?
KN4BED. Could you guys explain what was that about? I'm still new and I don't have any idea what the activation was about.
And to net control, this is K5 Sierra Delta Whiskey. pretty much out of range now, so I've dropped off. Wish you guys a 7-3, and we'll catch you on the next net. SDW, QRT.
Roger, Roger, Scott. Thank you for staying with us while you were in range. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. K5 SDW, this is KC5AJE and 73CU. Any stations that would like to check in a short time before we kind of move on with the program, please come now with your name and call sign, please.
This is Alpha Golf 5, Sierra Juliet, no traffic.
This is KB5MPJ, Kilo Bravo 5, Mike, Papa Juliet, Jason and Buda.
Roger, the net recognizes Alpha Golf 5, Sierra Tango. He had no traffic. And I heard Kilo Bravo 5, Mike, Papa Juliet, Jason, and Buda. I didn't hear no traffic, so let's circle back around to you and see what you have to say.
This is KB5MPJ. Yeah, not too much going on. Did get on the CW net and make a quick contact right before getting on this net. And let's see, I've radio projects. I've got a old Yaesu FT901DM that I'm getting into, kind of getting it going. It was full of cat hair when I got it, so I've gotten most of that out of there, and it's receiving now. And I'm going to be moving on to hopefully getting it transmitting soon. So that's kind of what I've been working on, KB5MPJ. Net.
Well, that's awesome, Jason. I'm wondering if that was your first CW contact or if you've been after it a while. And it seems like I remember I've heard you on the repeater before saying that you really enjoy restoring old radios. Am I remembering that correctly, or am I making up a memory? KC5AJE.
So yeah, no, it wasn't my first CW contact, but it's always, I feel like I'm playing catch up. I'm always practicing, trying to get better, and need to spend more time on it. But yeah, I've made a few CW contacts, and then yeah, I do enjoy old radios. I'm okay at restoring them, but if it needs too much analysis and everything, it might be above my level. But yeah, I do enjoy using old radios quite a bit.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I have an old Drake TR7 transceiver and a lot of the accompanying parts that my dad, who's been a ham since the 1990s, KC5 Juliet November Romeo JNR, gave me. Unfortunately, the power supply doesn't seem to be working any longer, but I'm hoping one of these days to fix it up and get it online. I think it would be pretty cool. Anybody with any comments for Jason, KB5MPJ? All right, nothing heard. Well, Jason, thanks for stopping by, and thanks for your short time traffic there. Good to hear from you. And I guess I'll do one more check to see if there are any other stations there that want to check in. Short time. Come now with your name and call sign, please. Alrighty, nothing heard. Before we get into regular check-ins, we're going to kind of move into the next part of the program here. We're going to review a question or two from the FCC current general exam. So if you're a technician, and this will give you a chance to test your knowledge or get an idea of what the test is all about. If you've already passed your general exam, this is always a great opportunity to stay sharp and keep those skills fresh. I believe it's Sky M5LX is going to be helping us out with the general question or two for this evening. And so I guess I'm going to go ahead and hand it on over to him. Sky, do you want to take it away?
Yeah, man, this is N5LX, and I'm going to read a couple of questions from the pool about propagation. I don't know, it just seemed like it would be kind of practical thing. Okay, so the first one I'm going to read is question G3A14, reset. And here goes. How are radio communications usually affected by the charged particles that reach Earth from solar coronal holes? How are radio communications usually affected by the charged particles that reach Earth from solar coronal holes? And the choices are A, HF communications are improved, B, HF communications are disturbed, C, VHF-UHF ducting is improved, and D, VHF-UHF ducting is disturbed. I'm going to repeat the choices, reset. A is HF communications are improved, B is HF communications are disturbed, C, VHF-UHF ducting is improved, and D, VHF-UHF ducting is disturbed. So if anybody thinks to know the answer, come now.
BBS, put me down for Alpha.
Anybody else?
Yeah, fine, okay, I'll go with Charlie.
Any more takers? Come on, you guys. Okay, nothing heard, so I'm going to go ahead and give the answer. The answer is B, bravo. HF communications are disturbed. So the question was, how are radio communications usually affected by the charged particles that reach Earth from solar coronal holes? And the answer is HF communications are disturbed. And here's the explanation, reset. The emission of charged particles interacts with the Earth's magnetosphere, causing geomagnetic storms or disturbances. This causes disturbances in the ionosphere, which will adversely affect HF communication. VHF-UHF is neither improved nor disturbed, since VHF-UHF typically does not rely on the ionosphere for propagation. Reset. Okay, and the next question, it's G3C03, or 03, and it's as follows. Why is the F2 region mainly responsible for the longest distance radio wave propagation? And the choices are A, because it is the densest ionospheric layer, B, because of the Doppler effect, C, because it is the highest ionospheric region, or D, because of meteor trails at that level. Reset? So the question is, why is the F2 region mainly responsible for the longest distance radio wave propagation? A, because it is the densest ionospheric layer, B, because of the Doppler effect, C, because it is the highest ionospheric region, or D, because of meteor trails at that level. So if anybody thinks they know the answer, go for it.
BBS, put me down for Charlie.
I just don't want to agree with Rusty. I want to take Alpha. Yeah, 5 and okay.
Well, KI5PZN put me for, I guess, for Bravo, so I'll take the other one.
Anybody else?
5G, I should go Delta, but it's whichever one was the highest layer.
Okay, folks, yeah, that was C. Anybody else? Okay, N5LX for ID. The answer was C, because it is the highest ionospheric region. So the question was, why is the F2 region mainly responsible for the longest distance radio wave propagation? And the answer was, because it is the highest ionospheric region. Here's the explanation. Reset. The F2 region appears when the highest layer of the ionosphere, the F region, becomes strongly ionized. As the ionization increases, the F layer splits into the lower F1 region and the higher F2 region. Because F2 is the highest ionospheric region, long distances may be reached in one bend or hop of the signal up to about 2,500 miles. I was just going to add this real quick. The basic principle that underlies how HF propagation changes according to the 11-year sunspot cycle, or sunspots in general, is that an increase in the number of sunspots causes an increase in ultraviolet radiation, which when it reaches the upper atmosphere strips electrons from gas molecules, creating ions that collectively generate or create the ionosphere. So, reset. Radiation from the sun, specifically the higher frequency, higher energy radiation, is what contributes to the creation of the ionosphere and the degree to which ions are created. And I think it's also kind of worth noting that for electromagnetic radiation, the higher the frequency, the higher the energy per photon. So that's it. And 5LX, back to net.
Roger, thank you, Sky. Many thanks for reading the questions tonight. And for those that don't know, Sky is a really great source of information. He's helped me out on a project or two along the way, and that's what's great about this club. There's always members who are willing to answer questions if you have them or have issues. And again, a really great place to get access to that knowledge is on our club Discord. And so if you haven't already become a member and haven't created a login for our Discord, please head over to n5oak.org and learn how to become a member and get online to our Discord server and get access to all this wealth of knowledge. All right, it's about time for a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8 Hertz. And if you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4 Hertz. My name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE, and I'm your net controller for this evening. We're going to next go to Kent, KI5RBT, for tonight's news. Kent, are you there?
I am here. This is KI5RBT with the nightly net news. Last week there was a surprise announcement from Yaesu. They announced that they're discontinuing two of their more popular models, the FT818 all-mode portable transceiver and the FTM400 mobile transceiver. Yaesu said the reason for this decision is that there's a lack of availability of components to build the two radios. It seems like the supply chain crisis is still very much around. The FT818 series is still extremely popular. The 817 and 818 have been in production for over 2 decades, and they have a really strong following, especially in the QRP circle. So time will tell if Yaesu releases any more modernized models that could replace these two popular ones. I'm going to reset. Starting around the 1st of January, so this week, hams in Switzerland are going to be allowed to operate on the 4-meter band using all commonplace simplex modes. Swiss Amateur Radio Association, USKA, reported recently that their communications authorities have granted approval to hams holding HB9 licenses for a maximum operating power of 25 watts ERP. Hams can operate only in frequencies between 70 megahertz and 70.0375 megahertz. They also have permission for a range between 70.1125 and 70.55 megahertz. Relays and Echolink gateways aren't permitted on this band, and any stations being operated via remote control have to get permission from the regulator. There are currently 38 other stations to allocate this band to amateurs, and in 2010 there was a petition filed with the FCC who summarily rejected it. You gonna reset? And one that kind of comes up with some of the things we've been talking about already tonight. An Ohio congressman is seeking to provide relief for home-based amateur radio operators who are unable to easily operate in their neighborhoods, such as condos, gated communities, and some single-family subdivisions with HOAs, I'm sure. The measure introduced by Congressman Bill Johnson would grant hams the same preemption given in 1996 to consumers of broadcast TV antennas, satellite dishes, multi-channel, multi-point distribution services, and wireless internet. The ARRL has previously urged the FCC to give the same relief to hams, but the FCC has told the league that such actions can only come from Congress. John Robert Stratton, N5AUS, noted on the ARRL website that a joint resolution by members of Congress in 1994 supported the use of ham radio from private residences, recognizing it as a public benefit in keeping with the Amateur Radio Emergency Preparedness Act. Hopefully this time it passes and we can get rid of some of these HOA rules. This has been Kent Dyer, KI5RBT, returning control back to the net.
Roger, thank you, Kent, for reading the news tonight. I really appreciate you jumping in and helping me out for this evening. Next up, we have Fox News and also maybe a hybrid of VE News. And for that, we're going to hand it over to Ernesto, KI5PZN, for our weekly Fox and VE News, it sounds like. Ernesto, you want to take it away?
This is KI5PZN. Thank you, Chad. Thanks for running the net tonight. All right, well, last weekend we have Sky Fox out. It was N5LX. It was in South Austin, South Mopac, I guess I should say, near the Walmart, behind Walmart. Really cool hiding spot this time around. They're always pretty cool, but that one was actually kind of funny to find because when Sky hit the Fox, he put a hint on the Discord channel, so it was kind of fun once we found the Fox to look at the hint, and we were all laughing there. But Rusty, WZ5 BBS, found it. Rick, AI5A, myself, KI5PZN, Paul, KA5FZU, Georgine, KF5KLJ, John and Diane, KE5RS, and Philip HC5G. That was a good participation on this Fox. So that was last weekend. It was good weather for it. We had a great time. Rusty and Rick and myself were driving my truck, so we were more than anything we were laughing, but most of the time. But we found the Fox. We had a great time. So if you're looking for something to do during the weekends, fox hunting is really, really great, a great activity to do. If you are a new ham, or if you've been away from ham radio for a long time and you haven't been exposed to fox hunting and you either don't know what it is or have never done it, let me let it reset. What we do nowadays is we have a tiny transmitter. It's usually the one that I have. Is transmit 17 milliwatts. That compares to an HD of 5 watts. It's a very, weak signal, but could be heard around pretty, long enough, far enough. But we do that almost every week, and every other weekend at least, and sometimes there's more than one. And you go around, drive around using a radio. It could be the one you have installed in your car, or an HD, although that would be a little bit harder. Until you find that transmitter. The person hiding the Fox posts a map. Let me let it reset again. Post a map on the fox hunting channel on our Discord server, and it gives you an idea of where to go and look for that Fox. If you have any questions, you can also go to, and if you're not a member, n5oak.org and scroll down to the Discord server and join the Discord server, and we have a channel there for fox hunting. Again, it's a lot of fun, and you can do it with just an HD. You don't have to buy any special equipment for it, but it'll be easier. It makes it a lot easier if the first time, or first few times you go with someone who's done it in the past, and a lot of us who play it pretty often are open to new people and more than happy to bring new people to the fox hunts and get them exposed. And it's a really cool thing to do, and you can bring kids as well. Letting reset. The next one is going to be happening this weekend from Friday to Sunday, and it's going to be my fox, the KI5PZN. I am going to be posting a map on Friday, which is I guess tomorrow, sometime in the afternoon, of the area where the fox, I guess the game will be, and that's going to be again tomorrow, and it'll be my fox until Sunday. And I guess that's it for the fox hunting. Again, if you have any questions, go to the Discord server, the fox hunting channel, and we are more than happy to answer any questions that you might have. Let's see, and this is a reminder for this coming Saturday. If you would like to upgrade your license, or if you know anyone who would like to become a ham or studying to become a ham, we are going to be having an in-person testing, again, this coming Saturday at 10 a.m., and you want to write it down. It's going to be, I'm gonna give you the address. It's 14611 Wellsport Drive, 14611 Wellsport Drive, and that's Austin 78728. And that's on the Wells Branch MUD building, the municipal utility building. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email, KI5PZN, that's Kilo India 5 Papa Zulu November at gmail.com, and I can send you a link to a page where you can find all of the forms that you need to download and fill out and all of the details about it. But that's again coming up this Saturday, and few of us that you hear here on this repeaters are going to be there working as these. Rusty goes there, Philip, and I think Pat is going this year, and myself. So that's a great place to go. It's here in North Austin, and it's happening this coming Saturday. Let me reset. So hopefully we'll see some of you guys up there. And again, spread the word in case you know somebody who's interested in getting their license or upgrading their license. That's all from me now. This is KI5PZN, and back to you, Chad. Thanks again for running the net, doing an excellent job, man.
Pues muchísimas gracias por esas noticias, Ernesto. Many thanks for the news, Ernesto. KI5PZN, really appreciate it, and thanks for the support. Next up, it's time to pass the mic over now to Rusty, WZ5BBS, our president of the club, with club announcements and trivia news. Rusty, you there?
I am indeed, man. You're doing a great job for your first net, man. This is fantastic. So, yes, we do have some trivia news. We had 34 people play last week. And it's kind of funny, Jeffrey, KI5MBF, he was totally asleep. This is all Ashley's doing. Ashley came in first place last week on the Trivia Net, so congratulations, Ashley. Sky N5LX coming in second, and Holly W5LUL coming in third. So technically, Jeffrey got the credit because he's the only one with the call sign. But, that's not going to matter much because we reset for the new year. So good for you, Jeffrey, but, man, you should have done that this week. As far as the elimination round goes, Sky N5LX made it all the way to round 4, and he won the elimination round last week, so congrats to him. Player rankings have been completely reset, so if you go look at the website, we are back to zero, and we're going to do this at the beginning of every year now. We're going to reset it, so that way everybody can get a chance to get on the scoreboard. So if you haven't played, or if you just kind of, you're new at this, by all means, come and hang out with us. It's time to get your score on the player rankings. So the first Friday of every month, we do a versus game. It's the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club versus the Crossroads Ham Radio Club. It'll be tomorrow. So if you want to come and support the club, it's a great way, and it's a fun little rivalry between the clubs. It's a great group of people, and there's a lot of fun over in the Discord as well during the net. So Okies versus Roadies is this Friday at 9 p.m. So make sure you're there. Anybody can play. All you need is a smartphone, a tablet, or a computer. We got the bingo starting up at 8:30, so you have something to do while you're hanging out for the net to begin. You can also check player rankings, stats, net logs, player rosters, anything you want to know about the Friday Night TriviaNet can be found at n5oak.org. Just click on the TriviaNet tab. As far as official club business, we are officially up to 482 members. Way to go. Klaus, DG7NBT, and Avery, WE5GAL, are our newest members since our last Thursday net. So if you see Klaus or Avery on the Discord or on the repeater, say hi and introduce yourself. The next club meeting is coming up the third Saturday of this month, January 21st. It will be at the Hawson branch of the Austin Public Library. You can check the website for meeting channel or the meeting channel on Discord for all the details. This meeting we've got Dan Quigley, N7HQ from Flex Radio. He'll be joining us at the meeting, talking all about Flex Radio, doing show and tells and answering all kinds of questions. So make sure you come. We're also starting up a new thing with raffle. So for those of you that are going to come to the meeting, if you have anything around your shack, any kind of projects you're not going to do, any radios that you're not using, just any kind of anything that you're just kind of tired of looking at, bring it to the meeting. We're going to put it on the prize table, and then we will raffle it off. Anything for new hams, anything for old hams. If you got some stuff, it's time to clean out the shack. Bring it to the meeting, and we're going to raffle it off. And one man's trash is another man's treasure. So we're just going to kind of reshuffle the junk around the club, and we'll see how this works. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Like Ernesto said, the next local ARRL testing session is this Saturday, January 7th at 10 a.m. So if it's time to upgrade, let's make it happen. And like you said, we're going to have a bunch of us that will be there doing the VEing, so you can meet us in person and hang out, and we usually go have lunch afterwards. But yeah, check it out. All the details are on the website as well. It's sitting over there on the calendar, so go check it out. It's got links to all the forums and all the stuff. Our contact Ernesto, ki5pzn@gmail.com. So that you can make that happen. The same thing, KI5PZN has got a fox hunt this weekend, and Ernesto, something I just thought about, I don't know that we've programmed that thing after the potluck, so you might want to do that. So if you want, you're more than welcome to come over and we can do it at the house or whatever, but we might need to reprogram your Fox. For those of you with DMR radios, if you got a DMR radio for Christmas, the DMR repeater has nets on it every night, so go check that out. And then, of course, our favorite new net is the Wind Down net, brought to you by Miresto, KI5PZN and KI5SYX every Sunday at 7:30 right here on the Oak and the KA5D. All right, Ernesto said we fixed it. Fantastic. All right, so go check out the Wind Down Net Sunday at 7:30 p.m. I realize this is a lot of information, so by all means, go check out the website. All this information is on the website and in Discord. And the easiest way to stay up to date is to subscribe to the official club calendar. You can do that by heading over to the website n5oak.org and click on the calendar tab to make that happen. You can also add your birthday. Yesterday was Bill's birthday, so happy birthday, Bill, W5ITZ. He's one of our Crossroad fellas, so congratulations to him. Happy birthday, turned a big 6-0. I think that's all I got, Chad. Thanks for running the net. And if you're out there listening, I'd like to thank Sky and Kent as well for doing the questions in the news. If you want to run a net, you're more than welcome. Like, all you got to do is chat with us. And, starting out with questions and reading the news is a good place to go. And then you can, work your way up to running a net like Chad. So this is Chad's first net, and man, you're doing a great job, and I think I'll stop talking so that we can finish up the net. KC5AJE, WZ5BBS, back to net control.
Many thanks, Rusty. Yeah, this is a really great club that encourages us to kind of step outside of our comfort zones, me especially with running the net like this. I typically describe myself to other club members as a monkey with a PTT. And so if I can do it, you certainly can. Again, Rusty, really appreciate those announcements. It's about time for a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure to set your tone to 114.8 hertz. And if you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4 hertz. My name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE, and I'm your net controller for this evening. I'll be looking for a regular check-in shortly. No membership is required, and any licensed operator is welcome to check in. New hams are especially encouraged to check in, so if you're a new ham, we'd love to hear from you. All right, and so if you would like to check in for the first round of regular check-ins, if you wouldn't mind coming now with your call sign slowly, phonetically, and twice, and then your name, and then we will get through that first round and then circle back around to you to see what's going on. So if you'd like to check in, again, please come now with your name and call sign, please.
This is Kilo India 5 Romeo Bravo Tango, that's KI5RBT, Kent in Pflugerville, no traffic.
This is November 5 Lima X-Ray, no traffic.
This is November Foxtrot 5 Yankee Brant, South Austin.
This is Alpha Charlie 5 Golf Phillips.
This is Kilo India 5 Papa Zulu November, KFI-PZN, Ernesto.
All right, first in, we had KI5RBT, Kent. He had no traffic. Thanks for checking in, Kent. Next up, we had Sky N5LX. He had no traffic. Again, thanks for reading the questions tonight, Sky. And Kent, thank you for reading the news. Sky had no traffic. And then next up is N Fox5Y, Brant. Good, Brant. What's going on with you this evening?
Hey everybody, Brent here, NF5Y. Chad, you sound fantastic as a net operator. I just got distracted because my dog just let herself into the shack. I've never seen that happen before. Anyway, it sounds like you're doing this for like the 100th time, not the first time. So it sounds like you found your calling. Radio-wise, just kind of half-assed trying to learn Morse code, but life is getting in the way. I'm trying not to be too ambitious with it. We'll see what happens.
That's all I got. NF5Y, back to net.
Well, thanks, Brant, for checking in. I'm kind of wondering what app you're using, or if there's a particular system to learn Morse code that you'd like to share with the rest of the folks learning this evening. Back to you.
Sure. Just from doing some web research, I settled on the Koch method, Koch. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, so that's where you're learning one character at a time, and you start. I'm starting at 20 words per minute, which is a steep curve at first, but supposedly it's worth it. So I'm 4 characters deep. I've been stuck on 4 characters for a couple of weeks, mainly due to lack of practice. But I sure love the sound of Morse code. Back to net.
Yeah, Roger. I think I've definitely fallen off the wagon, but the Koch method was what I was going with as well. The app that I use for the iPhone is Morse Elmer. Was curious if you were using the same thing. Back to you.
Oh, I totally forgot to mention the app I was using. I ended up with one called on iOS. It's called Morse-IT, like Morse it, and I think it's pretty neat. I don't really have anything to compare it to, but it's like the slickest app I've seen in a while on iOS.
Well, that's awesome. Really, thanks for the suggestion. Hopefully some other folks that are interested in getting into CW will check that app out. Does anybody have any comments for Brent, NF5Y? Well, nothing heard. Thanks, Brant, for checking in. Good luck with the CW quest. I'm going to try and get back on the wagon like you are, and wish you the best of luck in the future. Next up on the list is AC5G. Philip, what's going on with you this evening?
Not too much. Thanks for running the net. You're doing great for the first time. Like you said, it sounds like you've been doing this your whole life. So, yeah, wonderful job on that. Just been sitting down reading my new antenna book. Definitely finding that thing interesting. Appreciate Ernesto for mentioning that and getting everyone into it. Says, yeah, it's definitely a good read and lots and tons of information in there for anything and everything you could ever want to know about antennas and propagation. A reset. Been doing that and playing with this SDR Play that I got, the RSPDX, and that thing is a wonderful SDR. It's really got improved reception on the low end, and I'm even getting better audio off of it than I am my ICOM 7300 on the same antenna, so definitely been impressed with that. It's about it for me and radio stuff, though. AC5G, back to net.
Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I've yet to buy that antenna book, but it's definitely been on my Amazon wish list for a while. I'm wondering if you're working on any antenna projects at the moment. Back to you.
Not yet, not at least with building a new antenna. I'm still using the InFed half-wave for low-end stuff, and then I got Discone and a 2-meter, 70-centimeter dual bander up there. But I am looking for some way to kill the antenna inputs on this SDR so I can kind of monitor but not blow it out when I press the push to talk. So if anyone's got any good suggestions, so far what I've been thinking is one of those auto-sensing things and just probably not even plugging in the actual transmitter to it because I'd be using a different antenna altogether. I just don't want the two antennas sitting next to each other to, to blow out that SDR.
Well, right on, man. That's pretty awesome. Does anybody have any suggestions or comments for Philip, AC5G?
N5LX.
Go ahead, Sky.
Yeah, this is N5LX. I was just thinking, if you get one of those auto sensing things, don't forget to if your transceiver has it, to delay it a little bit, just to make sure. There's a lot of devices that you can use with your HF transmitter that when they switch over, sometimes there's a little lag, so if you delay your transmitter a little bit, that can save you. The other thing was, if you wouldn't mind, what was that SDR you were talking about again?
Sure, it's the SDR Play RSPDX. That's Romeo, Sierra, Papa, Delta X-Ray.
Okay, the SDR Play Romeo, Sierra, Papa, Delta X-Ray. Thanks, Philip.
No problem, AC5G, back to net.
Roger, Roger. Any other comments for Philip, AC5G? Come now with your name and call sign, please. All right, well, nothing heard. Thanks again, Philip, for checking into the net. Really appreciate it. Next up on the list is Ernesto, KI5PZN. What you got, Ernesto?
This is KI5PZN. Hey, Chad, and everybody on the net, and thanks again for running the net. And yeah, you sound like you've been doing that for a long time, so that's pretty awesome. Let's see. Today is Thursday, so yes, I'm gonna be, like I said earlier, putting the Fox this weekend and participating on the testing on Saturday and seeing some of the guys from the club. That's always fun. I enjoy doing that and seeing all the people coming in to get tested. It's a fun activity. Let's see, aside from that, I have a birthday to attend on Saturday night, and then the net on Sunday, but yeah, I think, work, I keep saying that I need to do more radio, more HF during the day. Let it reset. But work's been, it's been busy, and I listen well, actually I haven't been able to listen in the last couple of days either, so that's been out of the thing. But it's hopefully, next week and in the coming days I'll get to do more radio, because it's always fun. I don't know, it's especially the HF during the daytime. I enjoy it when I get the chance. And the repeaters also in the late afternoon, but it's been a few days, but looking forward to that. And again, thanks for running the net, appreciate it, and doing an excellent job there. And I guess back to net control. This is KI5PZN.
Yeah, Roger, thanks for checking into the net tonight, Ernesto, and thanks for the support. And more importantly, thanks for what y'all are doing for getting new hams tested and into the hobby. That's probably a really overlooked and an unthanked role within the hobby, so I really appreciate you being there. Especially in the Wells Branch area. That's where I was born and raised, and so that's pretty cool for me to see. Anybody with any comments or questions for Ernesto, KI5PZN, come now with your name and call sign, please. All right, well, nothing heard. Thanks, Ernesto, and again for all you do for the club and for getting folks into the hobby. Ernesto is really a top shelf guy in terms of getting folks into fox hunting and all other aspects of the hobby, and kind of prompted me to get into hosting the net, and so I really appreciate the shove and the encouragement, and yeah, I wouldn't be doing this without you, so thank you.
Oh, dude, it's my pleasure. I love doing this stuff, so thank you for running the net again. It's KF5 PZN.
Yeah, Roger, I'm going to go ahead and do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday night net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign M5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you'd like to join us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure to set your tone to 114.8. And if you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE, and I'm your net controller for this evening. We're right in the middle of the first round of regular check-ins, and so if anybody else would like to check in for the first round of regular check-ins, please come with your call sign, slowly, phonetically, and twice, and your name.
This is Whiskey Zulu 5, Bravo, Bravo, Sierra, Rusty, Northwest Austin.
This is Anderson, Kilo India 5, November, Lima Kilo in South Austin.
This is Whiskey Alpha 5, Echo Romeo Sierra, WA5 ERS, Ron in Oak Hill, no traffic.
This is Whiskey X-Ray 5 Zulu, R. Lee, Austin.
All right, the net recognizes WZ5 BBS, Rusty. What you got for us this evening, Prez?
Man, it has been a great week. The weather has been fantastic, so I've had the house open, but all the pollen in the air has kind of gotten to me, so I'm kind of in and out with that. Been playing on the Slacker chat during the drive time, mostly with Anderson and friends. We got George in there and some others. So mostly just some local radio. Looking forward to Saturday, even though I have to get up early. I'm looking forward to doing the VE sessions. It's a lot of fun seeing all the new people come in there, and they're nervous, and you know, if they're anything like me, they suck at taking tests, and so it's just kind of that whole takes you right back to grade school kind of thing. But it's fun to see the excitement when they pass, and then, you know, the anticipation of getting call signs and, you know, waiting for the FCC and, you know, all that kinds of fun. So it's a whole lot of fun to go do, and then we go grab some lunch, and we get to hang out with Ernesto and Philip, and I think Pat's coming this time as well, is what I hear, so looking forward to that. I am somewhat codependent with my fox hunting skills, so I usually wait for Ernesto. So I don't know if I'm going to be fox hunting this weekend or not. I kind of thought about putting one out as well, but it looks kind of rainy, so you know, might just stay at the house. So that's about all I got. Thanks again for running the net, dude. Like everybody said, you sound like you've been doing this forever. So I expect you to be doing a whole lot more, and it never fails. New year, new net control. I just put up a new picture of all the net controls on the website, so now you're going to have to send me a photo so that I can throw you up on there as well. And that also means you have to keep running the nets. I'd like to wish everybody a happy new year and just say that, this is an awesome club and you guys are amazing. The Friday Night Trivia Net has been a huge success thanks to you all and everything that y'all do, from answering questions in Discord to just putting up with my BS. It's a great pleasure to be the president of this club. So happy new year to everybody, and I look forward to doing a lot more fun things with the club this year. WZ5BBS, back to net control.
Well, many thanks for that, Rusty, and yeah, thanks for again participating and hosting those exams. I know I'd much rather want to see you in Ernesto's faces and hear your voices than the mean folks that ran my online exam. They did not hold back in yelling at folks for messing up in the slightest way. So definitely a lot more receptive crew with our club hosting in-person exams. So again, thank you for doing that. And again, yeah, this club is pretty amazing. I had a conversation with Lance, W5KEX, the other week, who was speaking with some folks and other clubs around the country, and they could not believe the amount of stuff that our club has going on every single week. And so, don't take it for granted. Definitely try and get out there and get involved with all the events that are going around. If anybody's out there and would like to make any comments for Rusty, WZ5BBS, please come down with your name and call sign, please.
N5SMO.
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, hey, Rusty, I just had a question for you. I was in Sugar Land outside of Houston over Thanksgiving, and I heard the Trivia Net coming in on the repeater. That's a local repeater to Sugar Land. Fortunately, I couldn't hit it with the HT I had, but I'm just wondering, is that a regular thing now that repeater is linked into the Oak N5SMO?
Hey, Bill. Yeah, Happy New Year, man. Yes, that's part of the Crossroads group. They have, it's pretty much from Cuero to Beaumont. You can get in, and so yes, every Friday night they link up, and you can pretty much the drive all the way from here to Houston, and all the way out to Beaumont, you can get in there. So if you find yourself at like Port O'Connor or, anywhere that direction, if you want to see all their repeaters, go to crhrc.org. crhrc.org. And I think the Trivia Net, I think we're up to like 24, 25 repeaters now that the Trivia Net comes out over. So yeah, man, join us in Houston. That'd be awesome.
All right, that's awesome, man. Thanks. And I'll definitely go to that site. And I've been there, but I didn't really look and realize they had all that other linkage in there, and I'll check that out. Thanks so much. N5SMO, back to the group. And to you, Sam.
Roger. Thank y'all for that. Anybody else with any comments for Rusty, WZ5BBS, please come now with your name and call sign, please.
Cat5PZN.
Go ahead, Ernesto.
Hey, Rusty, I have a question, and also, I guess, kind of an announcement for everybody listening. So, Saturday morning, I know this test starts at 10 a.m., but I get up early, and there is a breakfast on Waterloo on Burnett, just south of 183. So, we usually get there like around 8 o'clock. You don't have to get there on time, but we usually get there around 8 o'clock. A bunch of hams. So in case, anybody listening wants to join in, that happens every Saturday. So, Rusty, the question is, are you doing the breakfast before you do before you go to the exam shenanigans?
Man, you can totally tell everybody it's the Austin Ham Radio Club breakfast. We call it Old Man Breakfast because we feel young there, man. The average age is about 140. No, I'm not. I'm getting up for the test, and I need some coffee in me before, and so I can't, I don't know. That's too early. I will meet you at the VE Center, though, I promise. I will be there, and I will be pleasant, or as pleasant as I can be at 10 o'clock in the morning. And do not save me seat number 1. I do not want to fill out all the paperwork, but I would like to hang out with you and Philip, so maybe we can sucker Philip into being seat 1, and you and I can take 2 and 3. That way we can just kind of check the answers and just go, you best! So I will be missing out on Old Man Breakfast. But yeah, if y'all want to go, Old Man Breakfast, 8 a.m. at Waterloo on Burnett, up by 183. It's a lot of fun. Those guys they're really great.
Roger that. I've yet to make it to Old Man Breakfast myself, but it's definitely one of those events that I would like to make it to over the weekend. Any other comments out there for Rusty, WZ5BBS? Please come now with your name and call sign. Well, nothing heard. Again, thanks, Rusty, for checking into the net and the support. Without Rusty's nudge, I probably would not be doing this right now either. So thanks to both of you. Wish you all the best of luck and hope you all have a lot of fun this weekend. Next up on the list is Anderson, KI5NLK. What you got for us, Anderson?
Hey, man. KI5NLK, Anderson. You're ripping it up. You're doing great. Like everybody said, I don't mean to toot your horn, but you're doing good. Yeah, been doing a whole lot of nothing, just running around all over town this week. So I've been trying to talk from various spots around the city and hit the 320. And I found my limit today when I was up I was a little north of Georgetown. And tried to talk to Philip, and it didn't happen. So I was like, I like that when you push a limit until you finally go, okay, all right, there it is. That's as far as I can go. So yeah, I've been doing just a lot of driving around and talking on the radio. Nothing HF, nothing fun. I like to hear what Rusty just said about the Houston location, because I was telling him, I was like, I'm not going to get on and do trivia because I'll be away from the repeaters. But if there's a repeater in Houston, I may see what I can pull. Back to you.
Yeah, roger that. And for those that haven't ever joined our Friday night trivia net, it's a really great time. The topics kind of fluctuate from week to week, and I believe this week, as Rusty said, it's against the Crossroads Ham Radio Club, so it's the Okies versus the Roadies. So if you have yet to check in or stop by for a Friday night trivia net, this Friday would be a great opportunity for your first experience in doing so. Anybody have anything for Anderson, KI5NLK? Please come now with your name and call sign, please. All right, well, nothing heard. I'm hoping I can get a mobile antenna on top of my truck like you one of these days, Anderson, so that I can do a little bit more Operation Mobile. Do you have anything else for the net this evening before we let you go?
Well, you know how much I like to talk, so if you give me an opportunity, I'm going to jump back in. For mobiles, man, I toyed with a mag mount for the longest time, and I don't know what car you drive, but the mag mount was such a pain in the rear. It was the coolest feeling when you have like a permanently mounted antenna, and you can just jump in, turn the radio on, and you don't have to futz with like wires, pulling in the window or through the door, whatever. So I say do it, man. Put something in the vehicle.
Well, that's a good suggestion, man. I've been looking at mag mounts for a long time, so I may need to look at something for a little bit more permanent installation. I drive a Toyota Tacoma and would really like to upgrade kind of my base station for 2 meters and 70 centimeters here at the house, and put this Chinese radio in the truck because I don't really care so much if it gets stolen. But really appreciate that, man, and thanks again for checking in tonight to the net. Next up on the list, I have Ron, WA5ERS, and he had no traffic. Next up was Whiskey X-Ray 5 Zulu. What you got this evening?
Hey, it's good to hear everybody. Happy New Year. And I guess my big obstacle I have is I have a tree that I have to have trimmed, and then I have a stepper IR, big IR antenna to set up. So it'll be a nice project, getting the ground part of it all set up and running probably a 3-inch pipe from where it's going to be over to the house so that I can run it under, a good feed line to it. And anyway, that's my big radio project that I have coming up. So I'm coming to you on a handheld, and I've got it, I guess, on maximum power. I hope it's coming through good. I guess a radio check. But other than that, it's really nice to hear everyone. It's nice to hear about some of the things going on to join in with. And also good to hear about the classes or testing back in the area. Okay, back to Nat. WX5Z. Thank you.
Well, really appreciate you checking in, and yeah, you're coming through pretty solid on this end. I'm again coming through the flagship repeater, so I can hear you pretty well. Again, I'm curious with your project. Are you doing it for 2 meter and 70 centimeter, or is it more of an HF project? Your antenna operation that you got going on. Back to you.
Stepper IR is an antenna that actually mechanically changes the length. I think the big IR is 36 feet, 32 or 36 feet. I think it's 36. And then it's an HT. I have a, which hasn't been turned on yet, a Flex Radio 6400. So it'll be a really fun project. Once I get everything up and running, I'll be on HF. And then I've got my handheld for 2 meter. And I have also one of the wireless, little base stations. I guess it runs on Raspberry Pi or something that lets you connect through a cell phone onto DMR or, all the different bands. So it's an HF antenna. Back to Nat.
Well, very cool. If you're the proud owner of a Flex Radio, you should definitely check out the club website, m5oak.org, and look into the next club meeting. I think we're going to have somebody from Flex Radio there, if I remember correctly from what Rusty said. So that might be a cool experience and kind of an opportunity to expand your knowledge. Anybody with any questions or comments for W5X5Z, come now with your name and call sign. All right, nothing heard. Well, thanks again for checking in. I'm going to go ahead and take a moment to do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure to set your tone to 114.8. If you're using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE, and I'm your net control for this evening. We're about to enter our second round of regular check-ins. Again, if you're just joining us and would like to check in, you feel free to come with your name and call sign. Again, if you wouldn't mind saying your call sign slowly, phonetically, and twice, I'd really appreciate it. So any stations that would like to join us for the second round of regular check-ins, go ahead and come now with your call sign and name, please. This is
Kilo India 5, Mike Victor Frank Jeffrey in South Austin.
This is Kilowatt 5, Bravo Zulu India, Ray in South Austin.
All right, we're going to hand it over to Jeffrey, KI5MVF. Good to hear you, Jeffrey. I know you've been pretty busy with work here recently, but anything else going on with you this evening?
Just heading home from work right now, and sorry that I missed Fox News. I think that I will have this weekend off, and I think I saw that Sky had a Fox going, so hopefully I can jump in on that. Otherwise, not a whole lot going on, mostly just jumping in here so I can put my name in the log, but it's always good to hop in the van and hear the radio going. Thanks for running the net tonight, and I'll send it back to you, KI5MVF.
Yeah, Roger, man. Well, congrats for getting some time for yourself. That's really important, and sometimes we forget to take care of ourselves. And I think Ernesto was kind of talking about that in his world earlier. And so, hope you guys get a break from the rat race and get to enjoy yourselves and unplug a little bit. Anybody with any questions or comments for Jeffrey, KI5MVS? Come now with your name and call sign, please. All right, nothing heard. Anything else you'd like to share with the net before we kind of move on down the list, Jeffrey? KI5MVS.
No, that's all I got for tonight. Again, thank you for running the net, and I'll say 73 and probably be clear after this. So, good night, everybody.
Well, roger that. Well, thanks for checking in, Jeffrey. Hope you have a good evening, and good to hear you, and hope to hear you again on the repeater. Moving on down the list, we have Ray, K5BZ. How's it going, Ray?
Hey, Chad. Yeah, it's going really good here. Thanks for running the net tonight. Really appreciate it. Sounded great. It's great to have somebody else in the old net loggers list there, or the net controllers list, I should say. Let's see, radio-wise, I installed a new antenna on my truck, a little project I've been wanting to try for a long time. I took an 11 meters Fire Stick CB antenna and got it to tune down for 2 meters. So I've got matching Fire Sticks on my Chevy truck, which looks a whole lot better than that little whip I had on the tail end down by the tailgate for the longest time. So I'm really excited about that. I still need to finish putting a fitting on the end of the feed line cable, but I was able to test it out with the temporary feed line, and it works great. So I believe you were my first contact with it, as a matter of fact. So anyway, I got that going, and I'm excited for that, and that's about it. I think I don't have a lot of plans this weekend, so I might try to make it in here into the shack and maybe do some HF work over the weekend, but we'll see what turns up. And that's about it. 7-3, everyone, and we'll catch you next time around. K5BZI, back to net.
Roger, yeah, that's awesome, Ray, and was fun to be your first contact on that antenna. For those that are curious about Ray's project and you'd like to learn more about what he did, and probably even more importantly, see a picture of his truck, you can definitely get in and see that on the club Discord server. And so if you are not already a member and are not already on our Discord server, you can see how to join that at n5oak.org. And so anybody with any questions or comments for Ray, K5BZI, come now with your name and call sign, please. All right, nothing heard. Well, it's a pretty sweet setup you've got there, Ray, in the truck, and wish you all the best with it. Anything else for the net before we let you go? I'm going to take that as a no. Well, if you're just joining us, we're in the middle of the second round of regular check-ins, so if you'd like to check in during this round of regular check-ins, if you wouldn't mind calling in with your call signs slowly, phonetically, and twice, in addition to your name, feel free to check in now, please.
This is KF5 HKQ Kilo Foxtrot 5 Hotel Kilo Quebec.
Roger, and I just want to make sure I've got your call sign correctly. I heard Kilo Foxtrot 5 Hotel Sierra Quebec. Is that correct?
It's Kilo Foxtrot 5 Hotel Kilo Quebec.
Many thanks for the correction. Kilo Foxtrot 5 Hotel Kilo Quebec. What do you have going on this evening?
So I have a question, really, about the placement of my radio. So I'm kind of new to this, but I have the FTM400XD, and I originally set it up on my desk where the radio was under the monitor, and then I brought the head unit closer to me. Every time I keyed up, the monitor and everything reset. So my question is, how far away from my PC area does the radio need to be?
Well, thank you for the question, and thanks for checking in. That is an issue that I myself have not encountered before. If anybody out there has any comments or suggestions, please come now with your name and call sign, please. It would be really, really appreciated.
This is K5BZI, Ray.
Good, Ray.
Hey, sorry about your issue there. It sounds frustrating. Can you give me a little more information? Describe exactly what's happening.
Well, I've moved the radio away from my PC area, off my desk and over closer to the window. Anyways, so the radio when this issue was happening was on my desk, directly underneath my monitor, and then I brought the little face unit up closer to the edge of the desk so I could see it. And when I would key up the radio, I think the power or whatever it was doing would make my monitor reset, and then my computer would lock up. But so I was wondering how far away from that computer does that little radio unit need to be so it doesn't cause issue. I've moved it 6 feet away, but I want to know where the limit really is.
Well, I can tell you that I'm talking to you on a 100-watt radio that's sitting underneath my monitors right now, and I've never had a problem. And in fact, my HF radio sits next to it. Underneath I've got 3 monitors on my desk, and there's no problem there at all. So there's got to be another way around it. You should be able to accomplish what you're trying to do there. So my first guess would be to look into, do you have any USB devices plugged into your monitors?
No, this monitor doesn't have any USB. It's one of the Acer Predator gaming monitors. Specifically, it's XB241H.
So the reason I asked that is because the only time I've ever had any problems with computer peripherals or whatever with radio is my HF radio would sometimes interfere with USB devices, but I haven't really had too much issue with that lately. I don't know. That's interesting. You might try getting some clip-on. Help me out, guys. What are they called? Ferrite beads. They make some that are square in shape. They're about an inch square, and they come on clips, so you can clip them around cables. And maybe clip some ferrites around maybe your monitor cables or your power cables to your monitor, and I would do that. Quickly, I can tell you that pretty much every cable in my shack has a ferrite bead clipped on it, and I haven't had any RFI problems in a while. So, and I mean that, like every power cable going to monitors, computers, audio cables coming out of my computer, they have beads around them. Jumpers, coax jumpers going between my radio and my meters, and so on and so forth. Just about everything's got ferrite beads clipped on them. So you might try those, and you might get away with putting your radio under your monitors like you want it. You should be able to get away with that. K5BZI.
Okay, good to know. Thanks for the advice. I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, good luck. Hope you work it out. And if you continue to have problems with it, ping us on the Knowledge Base channel on Discord. That's the kind of thing that we love to tackle. So it'd be fun to hear whether or not it'd be fun to help you work it out one way or another. K5BZI, back to net.
Comment AC5G.
Go ahead, comment.
Hey, I was also going to say to check the shielding on that cable and make sure that it's properly connected and everything, because for a long time I ran with the FTM 300 sitting right on top of a computer and never really had an issue. And later on I did add the ferrites to everything, including coaxes. Still haven't had an issue, but just kind of put it on there for noise purposes of incoming signals. But hope that helps. AC5G, back to net.
Roger, yeah, thank both of you for making those suggestions. I will say that I had an issue while trying to operate FT8 for the first time, and was having a lot of RFI issues, and had to do something similar in putting ferrite chokes on my cables and coax, and then ultimately I think it was Anderson KI5NLK. Who suggested wrapping one of the cords around a toroid, and so I eventually did that, and my issue went away. For what it's worth, I bought a 20-piece pack of ferrite chokes with about 5 different sizes on Amazon for about $8, and so it seems like a pretty easy and cheap-ish solution for your issue potentially. I'm going to go ahead and toss it back to KF5HKQ. Anything else before we let you go?
Nope, that's it for now. But yeah, I'm going to jump on Amazon now and get some of those, see if that helps. And I'll have to move the radio back and test it again. Knowing my luck, I'll put it back and it works just fine. So that kind of thing, I guess, happens. But anyways, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Thank you guys. KF5HKQ.
Roger, no problem. Wish you the best of luck with your issue and hope you get it figured out. Again, if it doesn't work out for you to echo Ray, Discord would be a really great resource to you or anybody that's having any sort of technical issues and would like to seek some help or some feedback in trying to figure it out. I'm going to go ahead and do a station ID. This is the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, hosted by the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you're just joining us through the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system and wish to participate, be sure your tone is set to 114.8. If you are using the University Link repeater system, please set your tone to 97.4. My name is Chad, call sign KC5AJE, and I'm your net control for this evening. We're still doing regular check-ins, and so if you'd like to squeeze in here before we close out the net, come now with your name and call sign slowly, phonetically, and twice, please. All right. Well, nothing heard. It's about that time to wrap up tonight's net. Before I close out the net, I'd like to read a list of the local nets so that you can join us for more radio fun throughout the week. On Monday nights, we have our 6-meter Monday. Join the newest bunch of cool kids every Monday on 50.125 megahertz for our new 6-meter Monday get-together. On Tuesday nights, we have our Southside Simplex. You can join us every Tuesday night for the Southside Simplex. Tune your dial to 146.555. The 555 kind of looks like an S on your radio, so just think Southside Simplex. To see what all the locals are doing here in South Austin. Wednesday nights, we have the UT Amateur Radio Club Wednesday night net. The net will take place Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Oak repeaters as well as the University Link repeater system. Thursday nights, we mentioned this earlier in the net, but we have our CW net. You can join Pat, W5WTH, and this cool CW gang every Thursdays on 80 meters, roughly 3.532 megahertz. Right before the Thursday night net, which you are listening to right now on the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club repeater system. We also have the Thursday night net, which you have joined us for or are listening to now. And then Friday nights, we have the Friday night trivia net, which is not your typical net. The net takes place on the N5OAK and KA5D repeater systems, while the trivia game is played completely online. Join us every Friday to chat on the repeaters, hang out with friends, and play some trivia. For all details about the trivia net, you can visit n5oak.org/trivia. You don't need to download any software or create any accounts to join. It's a really good time and a great way to kind of round out the week and usher in the weekend. And last but certainly not least, we have the weekend wind down net every Sunday night. You can join Mireya, KI5SYX, and Ernesto, KI5PZN, every Sunday night on the N5OAK and KA5 repeater system to wind down the weekend and kind of share what highlights you had that went on. Before we kind of wrap up, I'll just kind of send it back for any last-minute check-ins that want to sneak in before we officially turn the repeater back to regular amateur use. If you'd like to check in one last time, this is KC5AJE, and I'm your net control. If you want to check in, come now with your name and call sign, please. All right, and with that, thank you for joining us for the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club Thursday Night Net, a service of the Oak Hill Amateur Radio Club, call sign N5OAK. We're here every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're a nonprofit based in Austin, Texas, For more information, please visit n5oak.org, where you can read about the club, sign up for our email list, or donate to support the continued growth of amateur radio. You might also consider joining our Discord group, where we stay in touch when we're not on the radio. We'd also like to thank Kyle, KA5D, for linking the University Link repeater system for this net. I'm Chad, call sign KC5AAGAJE, from my QTH here in South Austin. Thanks again for hanging out with us tonight. The system is now returned to regular amateur use.
Fantastic job, man. Don't forget to send me a picture so I can put you up on the website. WZ5BBS.
Roger that. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate it. I'll try to get that over to you as soon as I can. KC5AJE, and I will be clear.
KI5 and OK, mobile.
It's past your bedtime. Where are you going?
Well, sure, you were going to still be on. Well, I drank the lost Dr. Pepper, so I have to, it would not end well for me if I don't get more Diet Dr. Peppers before tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm that way with coffee, and I need my coffee in the morning, and I need my time to drink the coffee, and basically if you're in my family or anybody that's in my house in the morning, the rule is if I have coffee in my hand, just shut up. Just don't talk to me. I'm still waking up, and certainly don't piss me off. So, yeah, I feel you on that one.
It's actually less me, it's more the wifey. She would get very, very frustrated with me if there was no Diet Dr. Peppers in the fridge, because she's working from home tomorrow, and she likes coffee, but she's like one of those people that goes a little milk, a little ice, a little sugar, and then just a splash of coffee. But yeah, it is kind of funny to watch me try to explain to my 4-year-old when she'll get up in the morning, it'll be 6:30, and she'll be like, let's build a fort, and I'm like, I'm just going to sit right here and drink my coffee, and I'm not going to move, and I'm just going to sit right here and just literally just drink coffee till my mouth burns. Please stop talking. And she's like, what? No, come on, let's build a fort.
I don't know what it is, man. There's something about the morning time, with my nieces and my nephews, the young ones, I will put on my happy face and grin and bear it. But if you are a grown-ass adult, if you can't read the face of just shush, then I will throw you out of the house. But I don't know what it is, man. In the morning, if you piss me off, I will come at you the rest of the day, and it will be mean and brutal, and I don't mean to intentionally, but it is just there's something built into me. If you piss me off before I wake up, I'm coming for you.
Hey, last year at Winter Field Day, you seemed plenty fine and chipper before you had coffee in the morning, but that may have been because you were still a little lit.
Well, see, that's different. When you're in other places and you have to act other places, that's fine. I'm talking about at my house where I'm in control of things and the way things work and my normal routine. Normal routine stuff is that when I'm, sleeping in the truck or out in a pasture or, maybe still drunk from the night before, those things definitely factor in. Same way when I go stay at the house in Florida and it's got 25 people in there and people are running around, I'm up at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's not because I want to, it's because those idiots can't be quiet and they stomp around on the floor, and so you can't be mad about that there because it's the beach house and it's vacation, and that's just kind of the way it works. So I can control it. I guess maybe I just prefer not to.
Yeah, you do you, man. Gap, I've been okay, Brady. I was listening on the net tonight, but I did get up and walk away for a minute to steal that last Diet Dr. Pepper. Did anybody say anything about Winter Field Day? Did that get brought up?
The only thing I heard mentioned about Winter Field Day was not to tell you about it because you might show up. That was all I heard. No, nobody said anything about Winter Field Day, but we probably should start mentioning some stuff about that, seeing as it's closer than it ever has been.
You read my mind. That was my follow-up. When is it?
It is the last weekend of January. So we have the third weekend is our meeting that I know you will be at because you're an amazing person. And then Winter Field Day is the fourth weekend of January, unless they've moved it or my crack addiction has gotten worse, which could have happened. WZ5 BBS.
Well, I know I'm a lovely person, and I do love showing up for those meetings. Those quarterly meetings are a lot of fun. I wouldn't miss it for anything, especially if there's shenanigans to be had. Let me run in the store real quick. I'm gonna grab these Diet Dr. Peppers. I'll be back in a bit. KI5 and OK. Why would I add an extra K? KK. It's not KK. It's KI5 and OK. I'll be clear for 10.
I prefer KI something. That really just kind of fits you a whole lot better. Right on, man. WZ5BBS.
And 5LX.
Si, senor.
I was looking at Facebook, and I was wondering if maybe some of these interesting posts that you come up with are from this Facebook group At The Controls, I think. They sometimes post some really interesting old pictures of control rooms and stuff like that.
I don't know who runs that, but I have kind of fallen in love with that Facebook group because, yes, it is just like random, fun, electronic things, and sometimes it's like NASA stuff, and sometimes like that, it's like soundboard stuff. So I have no idea, but I've just recently, the last couple of months stumbled across that one, and then there's like an Atomic Space Age or something like that, and they've got fun old dioramas and like old, newsprint stuff. But yeah, no, I just that's literally all I use Facebook for. I don't post crap on there anymore. But I use it because I've got a ton of, ham radio groups and that kinds of stuff. And so that's kind of, what I do for the Facebook group for the club is just like, here, go follow these people. This thing is fun and this thing is cool. Go check this out. I don't have really any original thoughts.
Yeah, I didn't catch that second one you mentioned, but I really like At The Controls. And it sort of puzzles me too, because the admin, whoever it is they are, won't let me post anything, which is really odd. It's like my posts on Facebook and social media are usually pretty innocuous. But it didn't surprise me the way things are these days. There's another group that was on there. It was just called Ham Radio, and it seemed like nice people. And I started posting on there. I joined it, and then I got blocked from it for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why. And I looked up the admin, and it was they were the people who started the group. I'm trying to remember where it was. It was like over in the Philippines or something. It was like some totally different culture, so maybe there was some kind of like cultural conflict that they saw in my remarks, who knows.
Yeah, it's rare that I post anything or try to post anything to the groups. The ones that annoy me are like the Parks on the Air, and there's the Parks on the Air seem to be pretty consistent with it, but the ones that won't let you share. And it's like, well, what is the point of putting something on Facebook if you can't share it and drive people, that's how you drive an audience to your spot, but they won't. And so I was just like, well, screw it. I'll just take a screenshot and post it in there anyway, and it's like, it's dumb. I don't know what the reasoning, there might be a good reason, but I just, if you're going to take the time to play Facebook and all that kinds of stuff, I thought the biggest thing was the marketing, and getting a following so that you could actually talk to people. But what do I know?
Yeah, social media is a curious thing. Kind of brings out, it can be really great, but it's kind of when people have some degree of anonymity, it sort of brings out the worst in some people. I remember now that the admins were from Malaysia, and I don't know much about their culture, but it's kind of conservative in some ways, not politically, but so I don't know. It really puzzles me when stuff like that happens. But anyway, yeah, I really like At The Controls. They post some great pictures on there. Just curious about that. And 5LX for ID. I was also going to mention, earlier changed my mind, but I think it seems like I read somewhere that Dr. Pepper has aspartame in it, and I used to know, I know a lady who's an attorney, and she used to drink a lot of soft drinks with aspartame, and she started to have some really serious memory loss, and when she stopped drinking those diet soft drinks, she was fine.
Yeah, I think Diet Coke will make you go insane. I have a friend that drinks a 12-pack a day, and yeah, the aspartame's not good for you. Yeah, the Facebook thing is kind of interesting. I came out of the DFW area, and so I'm on the Fort Worth Foodies page, and it is, it's Fort Worth. There's not a whole lot of amazing food stuff in Fort Worth, but I guess this woman is running this thing, and she thinks very highly of herself. And somebody was asking about tasting menus. And so I was in kind of a mood, and I just replied, don't taste the menus. They all taste awful. And I got banned from the thing for 30 days, and this little nastygram from her about, we take this serious, and this is not funny, and blah, blah, blah. And it was just an offhand little funny kind of joke, and it pissed her off, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't comment. I couldn't nothing. And she's just like, do this again, and I will block you from this page. So, some people need a drink and to get laid a whole lot worse than to stay on Facebook. But, that's their decision. WZ5BBS.
And 5LX Friday, but that's what we like about you, Rusty, is your sense of humor, and I totally agree. I think there's a lot of people out there now who are amplifying themselves through social media that just take themselves way too seriously. I think you can't ever tell with technology, all the technology we have, but when a new technology emerges and it becomes ubiquitous, like smartphones and social media, you never know how it's going to turn out, and it's like an experiment, and we're starting to see the result.
Yeah, exactly. I have a friend that has a ranch out in Montalba, which is over by Palestine and Athens, Texas, East Texas. And he's calling me. He's just like, I need fast internet. I need this and that. He lives in Dallas and, is always on the move. And he's just like, I've tried everything and everything sucks and nothing's fast enough. And I'm just like, dude, for somebody that deals in, information technology and, connecting to the internet, I was like, that is a feature. I was like, very soon there's not going to be a place on this earth that you can get away from the internet. And I was like, so you need to just stop with the poor me crap and enjoy that you can actually go someplace on earth that your internet sucks so bad that it pisses you off and it gets your ass outside and to do something else. I was like, so don't do that. I was just like, just stop. I was like, if you need to check your email or your text messages, just drive into town or whatever, but enjoy it while it lasts, because pretty soon there's not going to be 1 square inch on this earth that we're going to be able to hide from the internet.
Amen, brother. You're preaching to the choir. Well, I'm going to go. I got a game to watch, but have a good one, and I'll hear you tomorrow for trivia for sure. And 5LX, clear for the night.
Right on, man. Something tells me it's hockey. Who's playing?
How did you know? Well, it's I'm trying to remember who it is. It's, let's see, Las Vegas Golden Knights. And I'm trying to remember who they're playing this time. Oh, man. I think it's Pittsburgh Penguins, and they're a good team, too. I follow quite a few teams. But, yeah, you guessed right. And 5LX.
Right on, man. Well, enjoy yourself. And, yeah, we'll see you tomorrow for the net. Have a good night, Scott. WZ5BBS. Wayne on Anderson.
This is Kilo Golf 5, Kilo Victor Juliet. Rusty, I want to say amen to that rant earlier. You know what? I hate the internet. KG5, KVJ.
Yeah. If somebody was going to hate the internet, it would be KVJ.
We have a cell phone tower and have had one for years, but when I was working in Dallas, you know, I had pager duty and all this other kinds of stuff, and I would just straight up tell people, I'm like, look, I'm going to the ranch this weekend, and none of my crap works. So it was the best way, like, to get out of anything and everything for the weekend until I discovered that there was a bug in the ODBC driver for the machine that used to make tickets for us. And we discovered if you would go into the server room on a Friday and you didn't reboot anything, but if you would just unplug the Ethernet cable for about 5 seconds and plug it back in, it would freak out the software and tickets would still be made, but it wouldn't notify anybody. And so that was another great way to get the weekend off. You just kind of go in there and whoop, pull the Ethernet out and plug it back in. No alarms would go off because, you know, all of our monitoring stuff would see it. But, man, that thing would crap to bed and nobody would get tickets and you had the weekend off.
That's an awesome story. I think there was KI5MLK in there as well. There was a little bit of a double.
It's a slight double. Rusty wins.
I always win. How dare you double?
Oh, I dare. I almost doubled with you during the net just for funsies, just to be a jerk, but I didn't because I'm polite.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. So you got Starch Pepper. Did you get any munchy, extra fun stuff while you were at the store?
Man, I couldn't make myself. My blood sugar's at like almost 300 right now, so I was like, you know, I'm not even going to touch the candies or the chips and all that stuff. I was like, I'm just getting the sodas and put them in the fridge and probably should go for a walk or something.
Or you could eat a whole bag of M&Ms and just go into a coma, and either way, you wouldn't care about your blood sugar.
What store did you go to, Anderson? Was it the Beer Geek?
Was, but I didn't see you there. I don't know why you didn't hear me on the radio and then immediately jump up and run to the corner store so we could bump into each other again.
My life does not revolve around you, Anderson. Sorry, KG5, KBJ.
You need to check your priorities then.
I did not come from your loins.
Wouldn't it be so fun though if he found out? He's like, I did 23andMe. It turns out, yep, Anderson's my dad. KI5MLK.
Fred. And he had nothing to do with the Mexican people. It just like did not like them, didn't want anything to do with them. He did the 23andMe and found out he's like 30 or 40% Mexican. And the look on his face was priceless. It was so funny. And of course we gave him complete hell about it because, you know, he was just kind of a pain in the ass anyway. But yeah, man, you talk about a funny day, man. I will never forget that day. It was awesome.
Okay, so I feel a little bad for the guy, but if he's racist, he deserves it. Whatever ill feelings he felt. But the 23andMe thing, so I've always thought it's kind of weird, right? Like, it's neat to know where you're from, but those things are such a, like, straight out of Gattaca, where they're gonna pull, you know, all DNA records for any and everything. And I'm like, this sounds like now I want to commit a murder or something. I'm not going to go commit a murder, but just the fact that if I did, there would be a database of like me and my immediate family and like where everybody is and stuff, and they could like go, okay, where is he? And then they could go, okay, and let me track where his cell phone was at that time. It just creeps me out a little, you know what I mean?
Oh, dude, absolutely. And you know, that's how they caught the freak show that did all the mass murders in Idaho. They did that through, and it wasn't through the 23andMe 23andMe stuff, but it was through DNA, and they were just like, all right, well, some of it looks like this and some of it looks like that, but yeah, it's bizarre. Mom wanted that for Christmas. She's like, you know, I would really like that for Christmas, and I'm just like, I'm not buying that for you. And the same reason, I'm just like, I might lick a wall somewhere and somebody thinks that I killed somebody. Like, I'm not making it happen. If you want it, go buy it, but I'm not spending my money on that.
And that's the thing is, you say if you want it, you go buy it, but if it's not just you, it's like your family members too. So like if my brother does it, that same result's in there, right? Like they can get a very high percentage match from that and go, yeah, okay, so this brother went and did the test. This guy was near the thing. Odds are it was this brother, you know, the other brother, because even though he didn't do the test, or your mom or your mom's, I mean, they could all do it, and they can use that. And I'm saying they, like it's like some like cabal of people like looking to like arrest me for some like petty murder that I did, you know. It's not like grand murder or something. It's low level murder that I'm after, right? But no, I mean, yeah, like you said, you could lick a wall and you're done skis.
Yeah, no, I mean, totally. If you committed a grand murder, then it would be worth it, and I would totally come to your trial. But petty murder, like, who cares? You know, it's just like they were almost asking for it, right?
Wasn't there a movie a long time ago where a guy, I don't remember, he wasn't asking to be murdered, but like the point was he meant to be killed, but they wanted it to look like a murder, but then then maybe it was a suicide or something, and they were like trying to point out the problem with the, I don't remember, I think it was like a Kevin Spacey movie or something.
Huh, was this before or after the touchy-feely incident?
Sure, it was I think it was called, I don't know if it was like The Life and Death or just The Life or the Death of David Gale or something like that. Have you ever heard of that one?
No, not ringing a bell. And, you know, honestly, I think the last Kevin Spacey anything that I really loved was American Beauty. And that was just a phenomenal freak show of a movie. So it's been a while since I've seen that, but yeah, I did enjoy that one.
I'm still kind of stuck back to Rusty licking the walls. KC3, NAG.
Oh, don't invite me over, Randy. It might happen. I just kind of run around and randomly lick things.
I've got some wax here at 250 degrees in the pan. You want to try that?
Only if there's some good acid mixed in with it. What are you doing over there with hot wax? Can we talk about that on the repeater?
It's for doing metal work, like not repossessed, but like you like lay a sheet of copper out on, not this hot wax. I've got something else coming, but I needed to do this first. But you like lay a sheet of metal out on like something like real hard wax, and you can hammer it, like with little chisels and punches, and it, raises all the metal out. It's just I don't know, just an art form.
Oh, very cool. My mom had a paraffin wax machine, but that was, you dip your hands in your feet and all that, and it makes them all pretty and shiny. But that was, I don't know how hot that was. It was hot enough to melt, but that was kind of fun until, you dip your feet in there enough, and then you get kind of that bottom layer of sludge. That was never a good thing.
Well, I think there's one of those sitting back here on the shelf of my mom's if you want to borrow it.
Oh, I'm good. I got my favorite gal that works on my nails and does my, gets all the dead stuff off my feet and, makes all my hands look pretty because I got a face for radio, so at least my hands are soft, right?
Yeah, okay. I'll let y'all go.
And what is it that always makes me people uncomfortable about men getting pedicures.
That was a perfect double. KC5 KVJ.
Again with Anderson.
You know it, baby. KF5NOK doubling for days.
Oh, quick, Key Anderson. What did you have to say, man?
I was just saying, Randy, he dipped quick when somebody mentioned men getting pedicures, and I went and got my feet all scrubbed up real nice, and they use the cheese grater on it and stuff. But I don't know what it is about guys getting a little queasy when they hear pedicure. It's like it's where it's at. It's worth living for.
You don't know until you try it, man.
Sure.
I'm with you, man. We used to go, we would go into town and Mom would get her haircut and colored and all the other business, and it would take hours. And so part of our, sit over there and be quiet was we would get pedicures. And so it was, it's fantastic. You get your nails all looking good and, you get your feet all scrubbed. Same thing, the cheese grater, man, I love it when they bring the cheese grater out because I wear Birks most of the time and my heels look terrible. So, man, they go to town on that and, you come out, your nails look good, your skin's all nice and soft, you lost about 5 pounds off of the dead schmoo off your, your feet. Like, it's a good trip.
I take pride in the fact that if a woman jumped into my body, she would just shout like, "What the hell did you do?" KG5 KVJ.
Why is it like this?
I'm sure she'd probably say something like, "Where's my penis?"
You appropriate, Rusty.
I think something in the rules with the FCC after 10 o'clock, they don't matter. I think that's in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm just dreaming.
Regular broadcast radio, you can say whatever after 10 when the kids go to sleep.
Exactly, and that's regular broadcast. We're amateurs. We're a bunch of amateurs. We're not supposed to read things and know how to comprehend words. It's just we're totally winging it.
You're definitely getting the hot seat this week, Rusty.
I stay there. It's what makes my life exciting.
I'm at testing on Saturday mornings, AC5G.
That is actually one place. The VE testing and the old man breakfast, I tone it down way much because those old guys don't have much of a sense of humor, and to them, this is all very serious and all that kinds of business. So I have learned when I'm around older people that are very much into ham radio, it is best for me to just keep my mouth shut because it's not going to be a good thing. WZ5BBS for ID because I am a professional amateur.
Why should ID2 KF5NOK? I'm back at the house, so I'm going to take these sodas in. I might jump in the office and talk on the radio. So, good chatting with y'all. KF5NOK, I'll be clear for a bit.
Later, man. We'll be here listening. WZ5BBS.
KF5CCN from WB5TXW, over.
5G monitoring.
QRZ, was that KF5CCN from WB5TXW, over.
Negative. Alpha Charlie 5 Golf monitoring.
Alpha Charlie Golf monitoring from Whiskey Bravo 5 Tango X-Ray Whiskey. Hello, my name is George. I'm here in Crestview, Austin, Texas, over.
Hi there, George. Philip here, also from Austin, Texas. Yeah, I was just listening to the net earlier and finally got done with all my day's work, so thought I'd sit down and actually chat instead of just trying to sneak in a comment here and there. How you doing? Back to you.
Oh, doing all the good. I was on some nets, but on HF, UHF, UHF and VHF is there, but not so much for me. Where are you located in Austin, over?
Over on the east side, 183 MLK area.
Alright, 183 and question mark, where, over?
MLK, Martin Luther King, or 969, I think is actually what it turns into on the other side of 183 there.
Alright, I lived for 13 years in the Pecan Springs neighborhood there near 51st and Manor. Back in the 80s mostly, over.
Yeah, that was, I actually had my first place in Austin when I lived up here in the early 2000s was over off of Manor and Loyola there actually, so not too far from where I am now and down the street from where that was. Back to you.
Oh yeah. Well, it was an interesting neighborhood. I mean, east of me was a lot of country, like between Manor Road and 183. There were places where people had horses. But I took the bus every day to work down the Manor Road bus. And the 80s were the years of the crack scourge on the east side of Austin, so it was interesting, over.
Yeah, I guess I'm lucky. I was a little past that time. Like I said, I was early 2000s. I was here for a couple years, and then back to Houston, and then just moved back here myself 4 years ago now.
Oh, very good. I first came to Austin in 1970. I came up here from San Antonio, where I graduated from high school to go to the Big U, and got good grades, got lucky, and got a job here back in the 70s. It was hard to find work here. But here I am. Suffice it to say, this is not the same town that it was when I was a kid. But, I'm a little bit old to be moving to somebody else's small hick town, over.
Roger that. Yeah, I don't know how much has changed, from the time I was here to what it is today, and I can only imagine. And my mom actually was in Austin during her college days as well, so yeah, she tells me about the how the town's all grown up now. But yeah, I'll tell you, we still have the horses over here on the east side, and I have ridden one to a bar recently, so we're at least keeping that tradition going. AC5G for ID.
Well, that's great, WB5TXW, because I grew up riding horses. I did ranch work here in Texas when I was in high school and right out of high school. And really, that's what, don't think that all this cowboying is so romantic. Most of cowboying is digging holes and filling them up. And that's what, real work. And that's one of the reasons why I wound up here at the Big U, over.
Yeah, I'm lucky that we don't use them for work or anything like that. They're purely recreational, just to take out riding occasionally. But I do spend a fair share amount of the day, looking at fence lines and making sure nothing's broken and fixing what is. So I definitely hear you on that. But yeah, it's it's the way of Texas, I guess. Back to you.
Oh, yeah. Well, when I was in high school and out of high school in San Antonio, South Texas, well, let's see. Do I want to go to work in an oil field, or do I want to go to work with these friends of mine who ride horses? And we really did do the cattle work and the whole bit. I broke horses. I was good at it. But what kind of horses do you have, and how many hands high, and how many acres? Well, do you have acres out there to keep them on? Over.
There is. So it's actually my father-in-law's place. He's got 23 acres over here. And as far as the stats on the horse, I really couldn't tell you. Yeah, I couldn't even begin to guess how many hands high, just because I'm not that familiar with them. And I know enough to ride them once they're already, settled down a good bit and stuff. But other than that, yeah, they're my neighbor's horses, so I'd really have to get all that info from him.
Oh, yeah. Well, do you get to do all the good stuff, like muck out the stables? Over.
No, we actually let them kind of roam on. We've got about half of that acreage fenced off, and he keeps them there on my father-in-law's property. So we just let them roam, and they kind of just graze and do their own thing there. Like I said, I just kind of help them check the fence lines and make sure they're always up to snuff and they're not breaking out. Or if they do break out, we'll go and chase them down and try to get them back. But other than that, I could saddle them and then put the bridle and halter and stuff on them, but that's about it.
Well, that's cool. When I was in San Antonio, I lived in Castle Hills, so out west. I don't know if you're familiar with San Antonio at all. Of course, I'm not either, even though I lived there as a kid, because it's so different. But out West Avenue, we had the San Pedro it was a drive-in movie theater. It became the San Pedro Twin, and then the San Pedro Trip, right? So it was a movie theater. And I actually used to go to the San Pedro Twin and Trip with a girlfriend on a horse riding barefoot. People would go to the drive-in movie out there on horseback. We would ride bareback. Over.
Yeah, that takes some confidence there. But yeah, I can't really say I'm too familiar with San Antonio. I was basically Houston born and raised, except for my move up here now for the past couple of years, and pretty much a Houston boy at heart. But yeah, definitely never tried going bareback. He did have a bareback saddle and wanted me to try it out once, but I didn't really have the strength, I think, to stay on him. I'm a pretty tall guy, so I'm very top heavy. And that takes a lot of, side strength to be able to hold yourself up on the horse bareback.
Yeah, right. Well, you're from Houston. I was born in New York City, Manhattan. I'm a proud New Yorker. So I lived all over the States. My dad was in the Air Force. And, God, I wound up in San Antonio the first time, I think, in 52, maybe 53. There's pieces of my years, younger years, I don't even know because I didn't have consciousness. But, you know, that's cool. I've been to Houston a few times. I gotta say I didn't like it. I like New Orleans better. I'd say New Orleans is less humid, over.
Roger that. Yeah, Houston is definitely a swamp pretty much any time of the year you go there. So, mosquitoes that'll pick you up and carry you away. But, yeah, traffic's not that great either. So, Austin is a bit of a break from that part of it, at least. And New Orleans, though, yeah, that's definitely one of my favorite places to go visit. I love just going down there and walking down the street and ducking into bars, listening to some music, and get some excellent food. It's definitely one of my favorite places to visit there.
Oh, absolutely. I have relatives I grew up with in New York and Jersey and Rockland County, you know, the New York metropolitan area, who somehow wound up there in New Orleans, in the Quarter. And, you know, I wouldn't say it's the greatest place on earth, but I could live there. At one time I thought about moving there, but I've been here, like I say, since 1970. So it gets a little bit hard to think about moving to somebody else's town. But anyway, you know, well, good to meet you anyway. This is George, Whiskey Bravo 5, Tango X-Ray Whiskey. What was your call sign again? Over.
George, this is Alpha Charlie 5 Golf. Philip here. And yeah, it's a pleasure talking to you, sir. And yeah, I'll bid you 73, and I'll be clear on your final. Nice chatting with you.
Oh yeah, sure enough. Well, you take care of yourself. I'm gonna get lost or listen around the radio or some radio for a while. I guess I'm not quite fit to go to sleep yet. Take it easy. 73 WB5TXW.